So my name is Lynne Mackay. I am the Housing Management Officer with the Highland Council, and I cover the areas in Muirford, Bridge, Maryborough and Marybank. So as a Housing Management Officer, day to day can be very different, but essentially what we are doing is we are acting as landlord on behalf of the Highland Council, and that can include doing sign-ups. We can be ending tenancies, we can be changing tenancies through transfers or mutual exchanges and helping people with their housing options for that. Through the lifespan of somebody's tenancy, there might be changes to the household, so we would be able to keep the system up to date with that. And we're also working with tenants for their rents, whether that's supporting them with any kind of benefits that they might be entitled to, or just checking whether that is the case or not, helping them to set up standing orders or direct debits, and getting into that sort of payment culture for their rent. Part of that can be that we put in support in place, that we can put in housing support, we can get citizens advice involved. There's different things that we can do there for the rent side as well. And then there's the social aspect. We're there to help support tenants to make it a successful and sustainable tenancy, and that they're happy there. So it might be things like antisocial behaviour. We would get involved and help with that if things are escalating. And just generally keeping within the lease and the rules that gives there as well. But we also, we are very much a social landlord, and I'm there to support everybody in the community. I've got a hospitality background, and that wasn't sitting as something that I wanted to do, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, so went into a temping agency and ended up in housing and haven't left. Really enjoyed it. It's the people that keep you there, both the staff that you work with and the tenants that you're serving. They make every day interesting in many different ways. So the most rewarding aspect of my role is so many things. It can be doing a sign up for an individual, a couple or a family where they've been waiting for a tenancy for some time, and it's a lovely thing to hand over those keys and sign the lease. Equally, having somebody get in touch with me because they're struggling, it's really rewarding that they trust that they can do that, and that you are a trusted person to them to provide that help, and I think that's a really special thing. So a common misconception that there might be with the role is that I suppose that we are there just to enforce the lease, and that's not the case. The lease is what we follow, but we're also very aware that there's lots of factors to somebody's life, and we're a social landlord. So if somebody needs help, that's going to be our first course of action, even if it's gone through an escalation process and it might be just before maybe a pre-court interview. They need to get in touch with us, and we will help. We will put all the things in place, and there's always that corner to turn around, and we'll absolutely be there to support people. We understand that sometimes things can be difficult and people will bury their heads in the sand. It's something that happens, but that first conversation with us is an important one, because that's the one that allows us to be involved and to help, and that really is what we're there to do. So tenant feedback is so important to our role. It really evolves the role, it changes policy and procedure, and it's really valued by all of staff. We like to hear what's going well and we like to hear what's not going well so that we have an opportunity to fix things. And ways that tenants can do that is they can do it directly with the housing officer, they can do it through the tenant participation officer and tenant participation groups if they're in the area, and if they're not in the area they could set one up. They have surveys throughout the year, there's a scrutiny panel, there's complaints so that people can log complaints, and just keeping those conversations open with us. Let us know when things aren't going well, and it's also lovely to hear when things are going nice. So it definitely does make a difference, and I would just really encourage everybody to get involved.